This week we're off to the Crick Boat Show, organised by Waterways World and sponsored by Haven Knox Johnston. This massive event is held every year at the end of May at Crick Marina in Northants. It's Britain's biggest inland waterways festival and usually attracts around 26,000 visitors. A day ticket is £19 and a weekend ticket is £43. Children under 16 go free and dogs on short leads are welcome. It's a great event with live music on Saturday and Sunday evening. There's a preview day on the Friday and we're staying for the 4 days at the campsite next to the showground, and we've been invited to the show by our friends at Aqua Vista. And if you love the waterways and everything canal boat related, you can find it here, from toilets to stoves, water filtration systems and the latest onboard innovations.
On our way to Crick, you can definitely tell we're out in the countryside, can't you?
This is a traffic jam and a half.
Someone's not bothered. Very excited, aren't you, mate? How far now, Anthony?
About take the first exit onto A42 towards Crick.
Are 1.5 miles away.
Hey, how many minutes?
9, I think it said. Look,
9 minutes away.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Is it all boat traffic?
It's took us about an hour and a half to drive here, but we've got here for 10 o'clock. Our friends Fiona and Jude have already reserved our pitch.
You can see how dry everywhere is. No wonder there's water shortages on the canal. Look at the dust. It's like being in Texas.
And I've just washed my van. You're right. That's the one. Yeah, good, and you?
You sold it, haven't you, now?
We have, yeah.
Being guided to our pitch, but we know where we're going. Row B, pitch H.
I can see the van actually, it's there.
Campsite's looking quiet, isn't it, Sebastian?
Thank you.
Yay! We've arrived at Crick. Look who's here, Fiona. And where's Jude? Jude's hiding.
Jude's putting the tent down.
She's got a cold, so we're keeping clear.
Oh, she's putting it up?
So this is our pitch. We're here. And
I think he said don't do it so they extend like that, is that right?
first outing of the awning. We've got a gathering of vloggers already, so what's the name from Boat Time? And there's Steve and Maxine. Hello. And Maxie. Can't forget Maxie.
When arriving at the show, you're given a copy of the Crick boating times and a show guide with a map and a list of exhibitors.
Anyway, nice to see you anyway. Yes.
Aqueduct to Aqua Vista.
You're looking stressed, Anthony.
Because I don't know what's going on.
You might spot a couple of friendly scousers there, our mates from Swan Narrowboats. And we've just spotted the plastic narrowboat from adrift that we filmed a couple of weeks ago, so we're going to have a look inside.
Wow. Very homely. Love it.
Check out last week's video where we talked to Adrift Narrowboats and Formation Plastics who built this narrowboat.
It's alright.
How are we doing?
You alright? Good to you?
Yeah, no.
Yours must be nearly finished now, mustn't it?
Now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's both, isn't there?
Yeah.
This is the first time that adrift boats have appeared at the boat show, and it's nice to see so many people queuing up to have a look around.
Hopefully,
So we've got Willow here, and this is Rufus. Hello, Rufus. And Sebastian's being calm for once. Hello, Rufus.
We're on the Vetus stand, and we're stood next to what is a 22 kilowatt motor. It's only just been brought out for like the last sort of month at the most. I think if we're considering this for our new boat, and if we do go ahead with it, we'll be like the second boat to have this system in. It's a permanent magnet, which means it increases the torque of the motor as well. So it'll spin a bigger prop than the one that we had previously.
Yeah, and Artie and Rob have seen it in action, haven't they? Artie from Elton Moss.
Artie was really impressed. He saw it and saw the sort of wake behind that it did create when it was in full power.
Yeah.
He thought the bow was going to lift up out the water. So yeah, we're really excited. We're hoping this is the system we're going to go with.
This is Emma, our good friend from Narrow Escape, season 1 and season 2. And I believe you've got a book out, haven't you, Emma?
I've got a book out. This is a blatant book plug. I have, and I'm hiding in a corner, pretending to really enjoy the day. But it's not. I'm out of my comfort zone entirely. But I'm sure I'll feel a lot better once I've had a pint.
Yeah.
When I'm allowed off the stand, 'cause it's been busy today.
So can you tell us about the book? What's it about?
It's a memoir, but it's like a Bridget Jones-esque memoir of my life and how I tend to do things the hard way around. But it's humorous. And then it's the first time I've seen it today, and I thought, my God, I don't actually want people to read it because there's too much of myself in it, and I just thought, what have I done?
Yeah, you put yourself out in the public field.
Yeah, I have. But I think I've already done that with the calendar, haven't I? Really?
Oh, you have, yeah. So if people can't make it to the show to buy a book personally from you and have it signed, where can you get the book from?
The launch is Waterstones next Saturday, so it's out in Waterstones and Amazon from next Saturday, or you can buy it beforehand on my website.
Excellent. It looks like you've got customers. I'll let you go.
No, we want
We want to buy one, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Could you sign it for us, please?
Are you sure you want it signed?
Yes, please. A big thank you to Jeff and Sally for looking after Sebastian. Hope he wasn't too much.
Right, we're going now. Bye.
Going to come back and talk to the Water Freedom guys a little later on.
Oh, we've been looking around for this lovely couple, Holger and Star, who are over from Switzerland, and this is Lily, who you may recognise from one of our
She's
videos.
14.
Oh, wow. It's really weird, but when I drew Lily, I thought she was much bigger. She was sat on what looked like a really big rock.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big rock.
Exactly.
Oh, and they brought us gifts. Look at this. Oh, thank you so much.
Some Swiss chocolate
Swiss chocolate.
and some French crémant.
Wow, thank you very much.
It's not champagne because you can only call it champagne if it's champagne. But our boat, we have a Linsen, and it's in the Alsace. It's in the Alsace on the Canal du La Marne, and that's where they make the crémant. He's so talented.
He's all right.
All right, thank you.
It's really lovely meeting viewers, and a big thank you to Aquavista for looking after us at the show.
Oh, look at our latest dog sitters. How lucky are you, Sebastian?
A lot of people at the show were telling us that we had to go and see a boat called Breaking Bad, so we went along to book our appointment for the following day.
Oh, Rita and Ian, who we met today, have bought us a gift. Is it for Sebastian?
On Narrowboat Peshmaloo. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yes.
So we've got a little note, an envelope, and we've got.
Oh,
You said you were hungry, Paul.
yeah, little something.
Ah.
Taste him in, Sebastian. No wonder you've been pulling at your lead.
Don't you, mate?
Caroline, you've been talking to friends of Pauline and Derek's on Silver Fox. What's a friend's boat called?
Whack-a-mack-a-Monday.
Is that what it's got?
Everybody knows, but tonight is our official grand opening of the King's Barlock Taverna. Exactly, for Olivia.
Okay, so we had to try and come up with a really big celebrity. So we had a short list. I mean, Peter Johns was on it. We did think about PJ. We also considered Dangerous Derek, but he's obviously busy. Only other celeb we could get to do it is Phil.
I'd like to open up the first night at the King's Bar Lock Taverna.
A special thanks to this great gang for the invite. It's a packed campsite this year, and this is Sebastian's very first camp.
Sebastian? Oh, nice. All right.
The next morning we make it over to the quayside to have a look at some boats.
Look who it is. It's Phil. Sebastian. Hello.
We said we'd show our faces for a couple of hours on the Elton Moss stand because this brilliant team are building our brand new narrowboat. It's great to see some familiar faces, and it's good talking to suppliers to ask if they'd like to get involved with our new boat build, as we've used them before. And I'm really excited to be working with Caldwell's windows again.
Cheers! On the train, which we all did on the train going into the Rocky Boat.
You've got to look busy now, guys. I will come back tomorrow when you're busy. Yeah. Yeah, it's the cracking team from Amtrim, and it'll be no surprise that we're getting an Amtrim cover on our brand new boat because we're so happy with it. Excellent. 10 out of 10.
Yay!
No, hi. We couldn't wait to see what all the excitement was about Breaking Bad, and later that evening we're invited around by the owner, Nigel. And we weren't disappointed. We're talking to Nigel and Anne, who are the owners of this beautiful boat from Ovation, and it's Breaking Bad. Could you tell us a little bit about your boat, Nigel?
Yeah, well, it's a 60-foot, 10-inch bespoke boat built by Ovation Boats, and it is a Euro cruiser stern, and it's built pretty much from the ground up on our requirements. We spent a year in a stock boat, worked out exactly what we wanted our boat to be, and then we went to Ovation and said, we want our forever boat, can you build it? And they said yes. So we've ended up 2 years down the line with what we think is our perfect boat. Not everyone's cup of tea, but for us it's just right.
Yeah, and before we go inside the boat, you were talking to us about the water freedom system. I believe you got that on board?
Yeah, so we've had a water freedom system in both our boats. It's the portable version, they call it the Cube, and we can just carry it from one boat to the other and not have to buy the big system again. It does a very high volume of water in a very short period of time. You drop it in the canal, and we fill one of our tanks with water freedom. We've got 2 water tanks, and we fill our other tank from the CRT tap. So we've got 2 lots of water, redundancy if we can't get to a CRT, redundancy if our water freedom system needs new filters and we haven't got them, and that gives us 1,000 litres capacity at the front of the boat. We can pretty much do 2 weeks with my wife having 10-minute showers, not having to worry about water, which is, I guess, one of the biggest poverty issues on a narrowboat is water poverty. Yeah. We don't need to worry about that so much these days.
And how long have you been on the boat? Is there anything that you would change?
No, well, I think we pretty much tied it down to knowing we didn't want to go through a third iteration of boat. We wanted to make sure it was absolutely perfect. So our 7 months in living on the boat and working through a winter and an early summer, I reckon we're probably not coming up with anything we would have changed so far. Technology will evolve and there'll be things in the future that I wish we could have had that, but there's nothing out there now we've looked at and thought, oh, we've got envy. Not yet. It'll happen. Yeah, so we've got a lot of real estate on the roof and not much space. You always want more space on the roof. So we've got 2 kilowatts of solar, a fan at the front, Starlink, skylight. So where do you put your sliding hatch? Well, you don't have one, you have a lifting hatch, and then you're only using the footprint of the hatch to take up space on the roof. and it's one finger up, one finger down.
Excellent.
I don't know if you know Chris at Ovation, but he's the BSS qualified surveyor.
Yeah.
So he's like really tight on what's going to happen
Yeah.
to batteries, lithium batteries in the next 3 or 4 years, and what are the BSS requirements going to be. So we've steel fabricated in the build around the battery bank, and a server rack. They slide in, they slide out. They're thermostatically controlled with a heat pad all around them to keep them warm in the winter, and they're ventilated positively with a fan that comes on at 60F when it's hot, and that keeps airflow over the batteries, and there's a fire suppression system as well. So we think in 4 years' time it's going to be fine for the BSS, and we had a BSS inspection on build completion to make sure it would be, and they were blown away by it, so we're really happy with that.
We made a
We chose everything, and to be fair to Ovation, they're very good at stock boats, but I don't think they've done a bespoke boat before, so they've got their catalogue boat, and they'll adapt those, and they'll work with anybody for any design, but we actually did have this very specific set of requirements. So we knew the oven we wanted because we've had it before, and it's an oven and an air fryer, so you haven't got to worry about having a separate air fryer. It steams, it microwaves, blah blah blah. We've got a 3-burner hob, but most of the induction hobs now aren't big enough to take 3 woks, so you've got a big pan and you're struggling with space. So we wanted to make sure while I'm cooking, Anne's in the dinette watching Pointless and we're having a chat, we've got plenty of space to cook on our woks. We do a lot of wok cooking. And I mean, everyone's getting them now, but obviously the slide around things are a standard thing. But Ovation build all the cabinets from scratch and the carcass from scratch, so they don't use kitchen fit outs. So it's proper stuff, and they've got their own paint shop, so it's all sprayed, and they give you a lovely paint kit when they finish, so you've got all that. We've sourced all the recessed handles so that you don't have any catch points when you're walking past them. I think that's quite important in a narrowboat. And yeah, we're really happy with it. We've got that standard Bosch slimline dishwasher that everyone seems to be getting now, and that's just solid as a rock. And even if you don't like dishwashers, you're always going to use less water with that than you are if you're hand washing, so we think it's a really good system. And it's just, when you build a bespoke boat, you can get a cabinet made for your coffee machine, and you know it's going to fit. And obviously if it breaks, I've got to buy the same one again, but we love that coffee machine, so we'd be happy with that.
Nigel and Anne had an architect draw up the plans for this boat, and you can see how much detail has gone into it. It really is a beautiful boat, and at the same time it's got the latest technology and innovations.
Those Cold Wells windows and the low profile frames, inside there is a screen cartridge, so you get a really nice bug screen when you slide that way. You get a lovely tinted colour blackout when it's that way, and then when it's open you get the full view of the window. And obviously the Caldwell windows will lift out and you can have them out, air coming in, fly screen across, you never get a bug in the boat. First filter water into the drinking water, and that comes out of this tap here. I had to have this. It's a horrible day, it's a shame, because we've got the lovely smart glass, but you can't really see it working properly.
Oh wow.
So that does that.
We heard that uses a lot of energy. So that's
no, nothing. You can check it. It's on an AC transformer, so it goes down. It converts AC into DC. So that's just the way they run the system. It draws about 20 watts. But and not forgetting that when it's clear, it's on, and when it's dull, it's not drawing any power at all. So it's using energy to clear the screen and move the metal away from the filaments to make it clear. So it's.
Hi, Banjo. Yeah, Banjo's after the microphone.
Much of a design expertise, but we know what we like, and we kind of had an apartment like this, and we wanted to base the boat on that apartment. So it was like a deco walnut light with the and just like with the undergunnel lights, they're lovely. But when you're watching television, you've got LED lights in your line of vision, and so we went for the panel on the roof, and the lights a little bit higher. The dinette is a lot higher than normal, so rather than head height, we wanted to be able to sit there with our arms out and get pecked by the swans, which is happening quite successfully most nights at the moment. So yeah, we love that dinette on both sides to get the air through and the light through.
So and you can catch both sides, and you've got the fly screen.
And again, we've got the same slide thing, so we've got good coverage from that. And again, it's the Cold Wells glass, double glazed, and it's got that 75% tint. So it might make the boat a little darker, but you've got really good privacy even with the lights on.
And because you've not got a radiator on this side, you've
So
got
that's
all
the
that
beauty
covered
of it. You've
space.
got no
haven't you?
radiator.
Yeah.
So we've got undergunnels all the way down.
Yeah.
And it's really useful space. Upright books, all our electronic gizmos, anything we.
Rather than sat in the saloon with the sofa on one side and the TV opposite, Nigel and Anne have cleverly thought about the space and have 2 armchairs facing the TV, so they've got all that extra legroom.
They overlap the boxing. You've still got 40 centimetres between the chairs to walk through the boat as opposed to walking over each other. You've got the log burner. Were you on an area about log burner versus diesel?
Yeah. And what's the make of this?
Okay, and again, Chili Penguin. I'm so glad we went Chili Penguin.
Yeah.
They're not in Narrowboats. So that's a dual fuel towel rail, so that it's the only radiator that we've got. But it's a 400 watt draw electric, or it's on the wet system when we're in the winter, so we can have it on as part of the diesel heating system. We use her every night. I've never vacuumed this floor by hand. And she vacuums every night when we go to bed, and she mops afterwards, goes back to bed, and we see her in the morning.
Yeah. Ideal if you've got a dog, isn't it?
With this one, first time it does its mapping, it sees a pet, it takes a photograph and says, "Is this your pet?" You press yes, and the next time it avoids the pet. It doesn't go anywhere near him. China.
That's amazing. And compost toilet?
Yeah, 2. Yeah. We've had them before. I won't tell you how we use them because everyone's got their, but we bag ours.
Yeah.
So that's the manifold for the heating system. 5 zones. When it's on, the green light's on. It's pumping water around. It's off at the moment because it's summer, and that needs attention every 5 years. You'll need to just go in with a plumber and restock the water in the system and change it from the old to new. We had nice gaps coming up here, so everything was aired in there. And it also feeds into this cupboard as well, so that's all for towels. We keep all that nice toasty towels. And
got a shower as well.
Shower. And the interesting thing, I mean, you might not be too late for this pool, you might want to do this. You know that scuzzy puddle you get when you're alongside and then pumping onto the upper?
Yeah.
That diverter valve lets us pump to port or starboard, so we never put our shower water on the towpath.
Right, okay.
It's all like their stuff, but it's all soft close. I mean, they make lovely stuff. That's all their stuff. We went transverse on the bed so that we could use the width of the boat for sleep, and that just locks on there. This folds over. Yeah. It's got a fitted sheet already, so you don't have to make it, and then we just roll the duvet down. And then I didn't want a lifting bed that I had to lean over to get stuff from, so we have storage on both sides, there and there, and that's not on rails because we put heavy stuff in there, and we can lift it out and put it on top or put it back down again. So that's that. And then because we're transverse, and I'm getting to the age where I need to go to the bathroom every night, I've got my bathroom in the front, so there's another composting toilet, and it means I'm going to roll over Anne every time I want to go for a poo.
Wow.
And this is just my little morning room before I go for my shower.
Yeah.
4 hours a day, a max air fan. Every motorhome in America has one of them, and you never get condensation in the RV. We put it in here. I've never had moisture in the boat, not once. It's 24 hours a day, drawing the whole volume of air through the boat at about 1 mile an hour, and that airflow is so important. Obviously, again, there's nothing in the bow apart from my bow locker. Still got the fly screens. That's qualifies as your escape hatch. Hopefully never have to use it. And then underneath the bow locker, that's where I keep my water freedom system, and that's the portable cube. That comes out, and we plug that into a socket in the front, and that goes straight into the tank, and the other end goes into the canal. When we're running in anything dodgy weather-wise, or if we're on a river, we'll release the water down to below the waterline, so we've got ballast and not weight above the waterline. That's the only thing we have to think about. Otherwise, you've got 1,000 litres of water, on the boat. It's fantastic.
We love these new flush style windows from Caldwell's, and this boat is absolutely stunning. A big thank you to Nigel and Anne for letting us have a look around.
Don't try this at home, folks. He's not seen Jude yet.
Yeah. See you in a bit. See you in a bit.
Sebastian,
Sebastian, how are you enjoying your first camping trip, lad? Enjoying it? Morning, we're here at the campsite. It's the Crick Boat Show 2025. We haven't managed to do much filming because we've been so busy meeting and greeting and chatting to people. It's been lovely, but we've not seen any boats. We've filmed on one boat yesterday evening. We're now at the campsite and all our friends have come round because it's tradition that every Sunday we get the kayaks out and we have sausage, bacon and eggs going on. Let's go and see who's here. Sebastian's being a good lad. Morning everyone, we're live. Don't swear.
Don't say sausage.
Yeah.
Are you live?
Jude, are you there? We're not live, no. Hello. Jude, Fiona, Phil and Anthony have been doing all the cooking. Thank you very much. And we've got John from last year, Sharon, Tom and the dogs, Caroline from One Day More Aboard.
Federal government.
Pete from One Day More Aboard, and we've got Martin and Julie from Rhapsody in Blue, and over there we've got Fiona and Phil. Hey, he's been recognised, haven't you, loads this week?
I have been recognised this year, yes.
The weather forecast for Crick weekend wasn't too great, but we were pretty lucky. There was the odd shower in the morning, but it stayed dry for most of the day.
It's a bit cooler for it.
Watching your new boat as well.
Oh yeah, thank you. Go and say hello to Anthony and Sebastian, you won't mind. We love meeting people. Ah, look at this. They brought us a lovely gift. How nice is this? And who's this?
This is Pickle. Pickle the pump.
Well, it was very busy at the tillers and tankard stands from Aqua Vista, and the reason being that Gary from Chuggabug is having his head shaved in aid of dementia, and he's hoping to raise £2,000. And Gary's asked Anthony if he can cut his hair for him.
No, neither are my eyebrows. You're right, mate. Looking good here. Right, one minute. Oz. I can wear my cap again. There's nothing like... You were supposed to bring that. You're a ponytail. Can I feel my head?
Yeah, there's still some on.
Oh no.
Hello guys. Hello, how are you? I'm alright, how are you? Good, having a good show? Enjoying it all? Yeah, definitely. People are loving the purple.
Very bold, isn't it? Very bold.
I do love a bit of bold.
I'm going to prayer.
Thank you.
Thank you for the bandana.
Yeah.
Oh,
Manchester Bee on it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, you too. How's your ice cream?
Ice cream too, cheers.
You alright, mate? Yeah, you?
Yeah, good. I'm not turned round now.
Yeah.
Another boat that people were telling us we've got to see is Vamp Pirate.
Thank you. Hi, you okay? All right.
Yeah, and then the wife and I are gonna move on. It'll be continuous cruises.
Fabulous. Ewan, we've loved this boat. It's great fun and it's very unique. Can you tell us why you came up with this as a boat?
So, my wife and I are both into this sort of theme. I love to collect skulls and things like that. My wife's very much into vampires, so she asked me if we could call the boat Vampira, and that's after a 50s midnight horror show host before Elvira. And I said, well, okay, what about Vamp Pirate? Because I love the pirates, and I thought the boat, that would be more fitting of a name, and it works, and it stuck. And so that was the name for the boat. And then once we had the name, we then kind of just ran with that. So that's what's then helped to influence the decor and the feel of the boat, and it really represents my wife and I. This is our home. And when we walk on here, we're in love because it is our home, and it's got all the things in here that make it home to us. So yeah, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's definitely ours.
Yeah, we love it.
We love it.
Thanks for letting us look around. We absolutely love it. You were telling us about the skylight that you wanted.
No, so my wife wanted a skylight in the bedroom, and I was just like, I'm never going to sleep. Every rainy night, I'm just never going to get any sleep. There's always going to be stuff dropping on the skylight. So the compromise was we would just have the stars, the night sky, and being vampire, they're children of the night, so that was why this room had to be the night. This is the vampire's lair. This is where the vampire sleeps. So you can't have bright sunshine. It's got to be nighttime. So that's this.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ewan, for
absolutely.
Yeah, really.
It's always good to see the historic boats at the show too. That's a lot of eye candy for us boat lovers.
Oh yeah, that's the first season. Yeah.
As well as bespoke boats, there are also stock boats at the show as well, and we had to have a look around this Bickerstaff, as this was our very first boat 5 years ago, and we still think it's a lovely stock boat.
This is a fixed 4'6". Okay, right. You know what? Rather than making it down. Well, the reason that we can do that is then we keep.
This boat's fitted with a cassette toilet, but there is the option to have a separator or a compost toilet, and we have one from Compost. And one thing we really love about the Bickerstaff is a very spacious bathroom.
Right. 4 inches more across the floor. Yeah. And you can still get the heating and you can still walk down. That's good of the tanks they've got.
Nice to see it.
Surprisingly, there were only 2 wide beams at the show this year. It's our last morning of the show, and we always struggle every year to pack down this pop-up tent.
Coming in the boats next year, we've decided.
Ta-da!
Get it sold.
Then you wander off with it on your shoulder. Like,
Yeah, so easy.
It's our last chance to have a quick look round at some of the stalls that are on show in the marquees.
You can avoid it because you've got a compaction, and therefore, and the fixed socket is really to control the descent of the lot.
Have you had a good show this weekend?
We've had a very good show, thank you very much. Lots of conversations, lots of talks to people, and people were interested in both the chaplaincy and the Boaters Christian Fellowship. Although we're 2 different organisations, we work very closely together with each other. So yes, it's been a good show.
Good.
Does it link up to your phone? It doesn't matter if it's only £50 or £1,000.
We're always amazed at this beautiful work created by glass artist Catherine Webley.
So Nick, can you tell us about your product?
Yeah, so we're here at the Crick Boat Show showing two products here. We've got Hero, which is our propulsion system for boats. So we use fuel cell as a replacement for diesel generators to enable you to have emission-free, zero-carbon boating. So this unit is designed to go in the side of a boat. We open it here at the side, and within that we have 3.5 kilos of hydrogen stored at 350 bar, which is in a cylinder at the base. And then we take that through two sets of pressure regulators, and it then goes into the fuel cell, which sits here, and that produces 48 volts and up to 1 kilowatt per hour. So the idea is that on a lovely sunny day like this, we will have plenty of solar panels on the roof of the boats. We'll have a few lovely electrical energy which will enable us to cruise without any emissions. But if it starts to become cloudy, or we have to travel perhaps in winter when we don't get nearly as much solar energy, then we need to have alternatives. Most of the boats that you see down in the quayside will be diesel electric hybrids, but what we're advocating is the use of a fuel cell to make it a completely carbon-free fuel cell electric boat. And we've got sources of green hydrogen. They're becoming increasingly available. The price of green hydrogen is falling in the UK, and we can arrange for people to come and deliver it to the Canal side.
Brilliant, thank you very much, thank you. Just get this as well.
We finally caught up with John on the Water Freedom stand, and we had some questions for him.
Thank you, Paul, for coming by. Yeah.
Welcome. Can you tell viewers about the Water Freedom system and how it works?
Sure. So we take water from a canal or a river, or in the case of an off-grid property, from a well or a borehole, and we force the water through a series of filters to remove sediments, hydrocarbons, heavy metals, pesticides, and a range of other chemical contaminants. And we then push the water through the last stages to push it through an ultraviolet sterilizer. So we kill bacteria, viruses and cysts. And in the context of a boat, the water would then go into your boat's water tank. And that water is then suitable for baths, shower, laundry, dishes, everything except for drinking and cooking. If you want to drink or cook with the water, then you'll need the next stage of our process, which basically ultra purifies the water to a level that takes it way beyond the purity you'd expect from normal tap water.
So I guess that you can do that with one tank on a boat rather than 3 tanks, 2 separate tanks?
Yeah, so when we started, which was I built the first system, I created the process of filtering canal water for my own use on my own boat 10 years ago. And when I started offering this out to the wider community about 7 years ago, at that stage, yes, we would often get people they'd specify with a new build, they'd specify 2 tanks. They'd have 1 tank for the water that they would use for showers and laundry and dishes, and they'd have another tank that they would fill from CRT water points. But that's no longer necessary because we now have the Water Freedom Pure. So you can use the same tank for everything, because we will then ultra purify that water at the tap.
Right, great. And what about filters? How often do you have to change the filters?
The filters you'll change most often are the sediment filters. They do the heavy lifting. They get hit with the initial sort of sediment that comes in, and you'll change those between once a month and once every 3 months, dependent on where you're moored. Obviously, if the water has if it's very rich in sediment, you'll clog them up quicker. If the water's relatively clean and you can see the bottom of the canal, then you might be nearer the 3 months mark.
Do the actual filters, do they take up a lot of room on a boat? Where would you install those?
So the main system we'd want to fit inside the cabin somewhere. So we can build the system in any one of 3 shapes. So the one that we have here that you're looking at is the square version of the system, but we can also build it as a horizontal rectangle or a vertical rectangle. So we need to accommodate 6 filter housings, and those can either be built as a single row of 6, in which case you end up with the horizontal rectangle, as 3 rows of 2, in which case you end up with a vertical rectangle, or as 2 rows of 3, in which case you end up with something that's roughly square.
If somebody wants to retrofit this on a boat, is that something that's...
Yeah, I mean, 70% of the installations we do are on boats that people are already living on. We have a relationship with all of the main boat builders, so for new boats they can be built in when the boat's in build in the factory. But like I say, 70, maybe even 80% of what we fit is on boats that people are already living on.
All right, fantastic. Well, this really is a system that we're considering on our new Narrowboat, and it'd be great to test it all out. But thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Paul.
The show started to wind down for another year, but we've had a brilliant time. We want to say a big thank you to Aquavista, to Elton Moss, and to everybody that said hello at the show.
Absolutely crazy, but it's brilliant, yeah.
Crazy good.
So,
just hold it on the pallet for a while.
Someone is completely flaked out, and no wonder.
Have you enjoyed the boat show?
Yeah, I'm really tired.
Phil, how are you doing?
All right, Paul.
Have you enjoyed Crick this year?
It's been absolutely fantastic weekend, but I'm absolutely shattered.
You've been recognised loads, haven't you?
I've been recognised loads, yeah. Everybody's been saying, it's Phil.
It's been a good weekend, hasn't it?
Fantastic.
We're all tired. We're waiting for Pete and Caroline at Crick Wharf Marina because we want a cup of coffee and to put our feet up.
And we're having cake.
Yeah.
We're having cake, of course.
Yeah, it's poor Pete and Caroline. Can't talk, I'm that tired. They're hoping to put their feet up, but they're going to be running around making cups of coffee for us.
I'm hoping the hot chocolate machine might be on the go.
Oh yeah. And someone's enjoyed the show, but he's absolutely exhausted, bless him.
We had a lovely catch up with Pete and Caroline, and we finally made it back to the boat just before midnight.
Was it worth it, Anthony?
Yeah, it's a fabulous weekend, but I'm so tired.
I know, and so Sebastian, look at him, bless him. Oh, you've done so well, lad.
Yes.